This month, IU proudly reported that its Indianapolis campus was designated as a Research 1 institution by Carnegie classification, meaning it's one of the most productive research campuses in the country. But instead of changes on campus, it's actually due to Carnegie's new classification system. As our Ethan Sandwise reports, 40 other universities joined IU Indianapolis as R1 when the threshold was lowered recently.
The campus proudly joined the ranks of R1 universities, which signifies our role as a leading institution in driving groundbreaking research.
Carnegie Classifications divides research campuses in two levels based on their output. R1 universities are the largest. IU leaders touted the change as a matter of prestige. Although President Pamela Whitten referred to R1 as a status, researchers at Carnegie say R1 designation is not meant to be a status symbol. Contrary to popular belief, it doesn't provide more access to grant funding either.
It wasn't supposed to be a prestige or a designation of quality or anything else than a description. Large footprint, medium footprint, smaller footprint.
40 other campuses around the country were reclassified last year as R1 alongside IUPUI. Among them, Michigan Tech, Howard University, and the University of California, San Francisco.
There are many institutions that are very effective, good research universities that were not recognized at R1 because it was not quite at that level.
Borden says that by trying to earn R1 status and the prestige that comes with it, universities would sometimes risk important parts of their mission, such as undergraduate experience. But with a lower threshold and clearer guidelines, that rush can be avoided. Carnegie used to look at 7 factors for classifying research output, based mainly on size. Now it's down to 2, a $50 million research budget and at least 70 PhD graduates per year. Places like IU Indianapolis already fit the mold. Under current standards, Borden says it would have been an R1 since 2010.
It's not really reflective necessarily of what's been done since President Whitten has been in, but it's not like it's dishonest or anything. It's just survival and making as much as you can out of the good to counter all the things of the bad.
The fact that IU Indianapolis was reclassified due to a change in definition isn't lost on campus leaders.
This is a level of research that we've been engaged in for a long time, but it's finally being recognized with this change in how Carnegie is coming up with the R1 designation.
The designation was actually granted to IUPUI since Carnegie looked at a 3-year period before campus split between IU and Purdue University. But of its almost $90 million research budget in 2023, nearly $77 million went to areas that are now part of IU.
If you take away all of the great work that our Purdue colleagues contributed to the IUPUI ranking of R1, if you take away their doctoral degrees and the research expenditures, we still would have qualified for the R1 status.
But Borden would be the first to tell you, a university is more than just its research footprint. IUPUI is young by university standards. It only started granting degrees in the 70s. Its function as an urban campus was different from Bloomington's. Rather than research, it emphasized service to the city through education for non-traditional students and social development. Borden says that's what attracted him to campus when he started teaching there in the early 90s. But it's not the type of mission that helps campuses classify for R1.
For many of the other programs, funding was more from philanthropic kind of organizations because it was about community development. And they may move away from that because it's not as rich. It doesn't provide as many indirect costs.
Corso says that won't be the case.
I also like to think of IU Indianapolis as a campus that doesn't do research just for research's sake. We do research that has an impact on our communities.
IUI is Indiana's 4th R1 campus, joining its Bloomington sister campus, Purdue University, and the University of Notre Dame. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Ethan Sandwise.
The Indianapolis campus receives a fraction of the Indiana University's total research funding, which was over $770 million in 2023.